Peace. What's up, y'all? This is Akeem Hindsight Radio. Hey, I'm on my teaching mode today. I want to show you a clip from an old Johnny Carson show where he interviews a guy named Jake Ehrlich, who was at the time was a very famous lawyer, trial lawyer. Let's listen to it real quick, and then I'll go in on it.
Our next guest is one of the country's most famous and dynamic trial lawyers. In fact, he has a distinguished legal career, and those of you who are familiar with the television show that was on for some seasons, Sam Benedict, was based on a good part on his career. He's written a new book called A Reasonable Doubt, in which he states his definite opinions, speaks out rather boldly and provocatively on a whole number of subjects, from the narcotics addict to censorship to the Fifth Amendment.
By the way, I just ordered the book. I got to read these books to see what they're saying. And our legal system is so old. You have to read the old stuff to see what's really going on, because they change stuff up all the time. So he's about to say some interesting things. And I watched the video several times over and over, just this portion. And it's giving me some really good ideas. But let's listen.
Divorce and etc. He's an extremely interesting man. Would you welcome, please, Mr. Jake Ehrlich? Good evening, Counselor.
Good evening.
I always hear that. They say that on television all the time.
Not on the Sam Benedict show, they don't.
They don't say that. Why do they always say it in those other series? Counselor all the time.
Yeah, well,
lawyers talk to each other that way?
No. You ought to hear lawyers talk to each other.
This is a most fascinating book. As I mentioned to you briefly in a little time we had to say hello before the program, I get probably 30 or 40 books a month from people who appear on the show, and most of them you don't have a chance to really look through. You look some of the highlights. And I sit up the last 2 nights with this book and called A Reasonable Doubt, and got so fascinated. I guess the lay people who don't know much about the workings of the law, this is all fascinating.
I'm glad
what you do. Most interesting. One statement you had in here, it says when you are defending somebody, you say the first thing that you tell them is never plead guilty.
Never plead guilty. Every man's entitled to a trial. He's presumed to be innocent until the contrary is proved to a moral certainty beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's his right under the law, and he ought to avail himself of that right.
So never
plead
guilty.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your name? What is your name?
I refuse to answer. No. My name is Johnny Carson.
How do you know that to be your name?
Well, it's on a
Pay attention. He's dropping the jewels right now.
birth certificate, legally
That's
recorded.
hearsay.
That's hearsay?
Of course.
I mean, if it's legally recorded.
That's still hearsay. Suppose you were born, and I must assume that you were born because you're here tonight with us. There's a certificate made out not by you, certificate made out by somebody else.
Did you hear what he said? He said there's a certificate made out, not by you, made out by someone else. How many of y'all go in there and they say, is that your birth certificate? And y'all know these birth certificates are not yours. It belongs to the county that it was created in. You are there to use it for whatever they want you to use it for. You use it to get a driver's license. You use it to get your passport. And all of these documents don't represent you, but you sign off on it as an authorized user. You don't know that you're signed off as an authorized user. So, but when you're in the courtroom, they always try to identify you as that piece of paper. Is this you? And the moment you say you're you, that's you. They got you. They treat you like trash. Why? Because you just admitted to being a piece of paper. You just admitted to being someone else's mental creation on paper. And see, we don't know that's what we're doing. Instead of saying, hey, I'm an authorized representative of that. That is not me. because it isn't you. Because they're pointing to the paper. Is this you? No. Is this your birth certificate? Yo, even down to your name. Is that your name? Let's continue. Hold on.
A boy child was born to Mr. and Mrs. Carson, and that he is named Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you know that to be the fact. That means you have read that to be the fact.
See? Boom. You read that to be the fact. You don't know. You were not, you were mentally incompetent. You of legal disability to know anything that was going on at the time of your alleged birth. You don't even know if the time is accurate that they have on the birth certificate. You don't know if the person who recorded the time, that clock was working properly. But yet we identify with false things. Only thing you know for certain right now is everything that you had firsthand knowledge of, that you witnessed yourself and saw for yourself, experienced, or did with your own hand yourself. You know nothing about the facts that surround your birth. Your mother might know it. Your father might know it. The people that were there might know it. So think about this. So if any of y'all out there dealing with any court cases, y'all might want to rethink how you're introducing yourself in that paperwork, or what you're admitting to. Like these child, oh, it's just you, this is you, this is that. No, none of this stuff is me. None of it. You hand over your information when you get a job like it's you, and it's not you. You're signing off and endorsing your own poverty, giving away money that you worked hard for, off of assumptions that they made of you. I haven't taught on something like this in a while. Let's continue here.
Yeah, I see what you mean. In other words, I only have to go by what is recorded.
You're pleading guilty to something that you don't know of your own knowledge.
In other words, I should have said
You already said you're admitting to something you don't even have knowledge of. Do y'all realize, and I say this all the time, most of the things you give yourself or say is facts is not really facts. It's stuff you heard. Nothing you know for sure. Absolutely nothing. Most stuff is all off hearsay.
if somebody asked me.
And that static are being sacrificed, and that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you got to feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it, the information station.
Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. I interrupted that recording because when I watched it, you know how you watch something and you get epiphanies. Like every time I watch something that I do from a while back, I'm like, wow, okay, I taught on it, but the thing he said in there. Let me go back to the part that that made me have the epiphany. Let me go back. Peace. What's up, y'all? This is Akeem.
This is a most fascinating.
Even down to your name. Is that your name? Let's continue. Hold on.
A boy child was born to Mr. and Mrs. Carson, and that he is named Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you know that to be the fact. That means you have read that to be the fact.
See? Boom. Here.
Yeah, I see what you mean. In other words, I only have to go by.
Here.
Yeah, I see what you mean. In other words, I only have to go by what is recorded.
You're pleading guilty to something that you don't know of your own knowledge.
Yeah, what he says, you're pleading guilty to something you don't know of your own knowledge. So Hold on. Let me take a pause. So when they ask you your date of birth and your name, and you agree to that, you just play guilty to something that you have no idea. So remember what I told y'all about evidence. Evidence must be established as fact before it can be used against you. And the moment you accept that, hey, this is your name and date of birth, you just play guilty. But now, if you shut it down, I don't know. I don't have no firsthand knowledge of any of that. Don't know what my date of birth. I don't know. Now they have to prove. See, that's why they always want y'all to fill stuff out on application. What's your date of birth? To tie you in. To tie you in. Man, I'm gonna stop right there. Because I'm gonna stop right there. I'm glad I was looking for something to play, the intro, the show, and the show is not even about birth certificates. But I don't apologize for going off topic because this is important to what's coming. I'm doing a seminar in Miami, late July or early August, working on the dates and the place. Most likely it's going to be a 2-day seminar. It's going to be this the new road I'm taking, the new elevation. So I just need to make a note to myself. I know I just went into straight teaching mode. Peace, everybody that's on. Thank you for listening on this Sunday, June. I'm so caught up. June the 9th, 9 days into the month of June already. 9 days into a half of year. We'll be done with June and we'll be on to July. Let me backtrack. I'll talk about more of that on Tuesday. If the spirit moves me to. You know how sometimes I'll say I'll talk about it, then the spirit say, no, talk about this. But that's going into a whole teaching. But the title of this program is Repetition is the positive repetition is the key to your success. Positive repetition is the key. I would say it's one of the keys. Wisdom is the number one key. But positive repetition. Look at your life. Look at our lives. We have repeated stuff over and over and over and over again. We are repeating stuff by the process. I talk about this all the time. I know that I repeatedly talk about the same topic over and over, but the only reason why I do it, I agree with Reverend Ike when he said the key to change bad program is to repeat a new program, a new positive program over and over. That's the only way you can overwrite it. Do something over and over and over and over again. Like, for instance, I go out and work. I work out now. I found my key hours of workout. 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 to 4 in the morning. I go get up, drive to the gym. It's 24-hour gym. And I work out for 30, 40 minutes. I don't be in there all day. It don't take, listen, working out doesn't take hours. You can do key exercises and get a better benefit to me than sitting in the gym all day. But, and I've been consistent. Getting up early, at least 3 times a week. I want to do it a little bit more, at least 3. So this morning I felt like, oh man, the bed was holding me down, but I still got up and went. Because once I get up and move, I'm going. What I need to do the night before, if I'm going to go that night, I need to because I haven't really set a set day that I go. I just kind of get up and I go. So now I got to set up a schedule of when I'm going and stick to that. Because think about it, if I had a job, right, I would get up every day. We repeatedly make ourselves go to places like jobs every day when we don't want to go, but we do it anyway. Why? Because we don't go, we don't get any money. Can't pay the bills. So if you can get in the mindset, if I don't get up and do something positive for my prosperity outside of the job part, if I don't create repetition, I will never be able to leave that job. So you got to create systems and put them in place and be repetitive, even if they don't look like they're working. Like I've studied, go to Corinne's channel. She got a new channel, and a lot of people don't listen live, myself included. I had to like knock myself in the head. Wasn't listening to her show live, and she listened to my show faithfully for years live. So I'm telling people to go watch the show, and I wasn't doing it. So I think it was last week, the week before, I got on there and watched live, and maybe a few other people was on there. But the reason why I mention that, we have to ignore those numbers. We have to ignore how many people are watching and just keep focused on just doing it, being repetitive, because the crowd is going to come. The people, the listeners, the followers are going to come. They're going to come. As long as you keep doing it. But if you stop what you're doing and slow down, see, I can get away with missing a show, right? Because I've been doing it for years, right? But in the beginning, I couldn't get away with that because I was building my following, right? I couldn't get away with that in the beginning. She can't really afford not to do a show. So what I'm saying is, and this is a message to her, she probably already know this, but it's just more just reinforcement. Be consistent, be repetitive in your process. Your process will probably change over time as you feel like you want to improve on some things, but the key is to get on that faithfully the day and time you say you're going to do it. Don't let anything get in your way. It will pay off. And as I watch the Facebook followings, TikTok, I see more engagement. There's more engagement going on. There's another couple. They don't get on here, but they're one of my faithful followers too. The Chettlemans out of Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. They do a show on the week. They didn't even tell me they were doing the show. I just kind of was on Facebook and saw their show. They do a husband and wife show. And I watched it where it had a little bit of following. Now they got a really good following. And I think they've been doing that show for over a year now. So never lose faith, but always be positively repeating the things that's going to push you forward. Positively. See, we have in a negative way, we have repeated habits that hurt us, that don't help us. We have repeatedly associated with things, people, and places that were not good for our success. We have repeatedly watched TV, listened, consumed information that was useless. But why? Why did we do that? Because we were trained to do that. We're getting a training from the day we enter this world. We're being trained to do something. We're being encouraged to do something. Like, for instance, we have repeatedly, just to flash back to what I started out with that video, repeatedly, I was born this day and time. I was doing this and I was doing that. I was born this and that's a repetition that we've taken on as fact, and we don't even really know if it's fact. And just making that clear in the courtroom can really shut the cases down, because they have to identify name, date, and births to make sure they got the right party. And if you coming in, I can't confirm or deny any of that. I don't know. I have no idea of any of that. Do you realize I'll talk about it on Tuesday because that right there, man. Tuesday, I mean, what to go in, but repetition is the key. Positive repetition is the key to your success. But I wanted to read something, and it's out of the Wisdom of Solomon, my holy Bible, the Apocrypha version. You can see that. See, it's a little beat up, right? I've had it a long time. Actually, I bought this book used. I bought it used at a garage sale, I think it was. Somebody was selling at a garage. And give me a second. So trying to figure out what's going on here. Oh, never mind. All right. So, chapter 9. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9. O God of my ancestors and Lord of mercy, who have made all things by your word. So he's saying God has made all things by his word. You, God, make all things by your word. By your word. And by your wisdom have formed humankind to have dominion over the creatures you have made, and rule the world in holiness and righteousness, and pronounce judgment in uprightness of soul. So we were made to have dominion. So the big question, why don't we have dominion? Because you've been repeatedly taught how not to have dominion, how to allow yourself to be controlled and your consciousness to be influenced by someone, something, entity, government, politics. This is why they have TV and all of these marketing. Do y'all realize the news is a marketing tool for whatever agenda that they have going on? It's a marketing. It's a propaganda tool. It's the formal education system. It's a propaganda tool because it all leads you to one place, to be under the control and dominion of someone else. Not you having dominion over yourself, but it's leading you, oh, be a good citizen and obey. Walk on this side of the hall. Eat what? Be quiet and eat. You can't go outside and get exercise. You only can go for a little bit of time. You know, children need lots of running around. They can run around all day, and they need that. Why? Because through their running around, they're exploring and learning things from their environment. That's really how you learn. You learn how the world works by being involved in it actively and manipulating the things around you to explore and understand things. I remember when I was a kid, we used to see those little we called them lightning bugs. Scientifically they got another name. We used to try to catch them, and I try to figure out these things glow and how they did that. Then we had the I think they were silkworms. They used to spin a web, and at a certain time of year, you could open up a leaf and you could see them in there. And we used to go through the bushes just looking for those, exploring and gathering and getting information from the environment. We were born of the world. We was born to be in this world, to understand this world, but secular education is not teaching you how to be in this world and understand everything in it. See, the real education is learning how this planet you're on works so that you can be able to productively grow your own food, gather your own water, make your own shelter. But this society has said, let's make it convenient, make them lazy mentally. Let somebody else have the knowledge and you just pay them to do it for you, which forces you to go out there and earn money so that you can pay somebody else to do the things that you can do yourself. Think about it. Think about that. How you've been repeatedly manipulated into this box called modern society. Think about it. If you really sit back and think, a lot of the stuff we have, we don't need. A lot of the stuff we're buying, we could do it for ourselves. All we need is the knowledge and the know-how. If someone was to show us. So if I'm a father, I have a wife, and me and my wife, we are teaching our children how to manipulate and survive in this world within our kingdom, with our world. We have no need for anything else. But we've created all of these demands on our time. So in order for me to get those things that I need, I have to go to someone's job, collect money for my labor, then take that money and give it away to someone else to give me the food, the shelter. See how you've been repeatedly programmed to be insufficient? Think about it. This exists, and we're programmed to be insufficient so that we can make somebody else sufficient. All right, let's keep going. Give me the wisdom that sits by your throne. See, for me to even say what I had to say, I had to think about what's the truth to get the wisdom. What is it? What is that? Do you sit back and ask, I want the truth. I want wisdom. I want to know. Well, most society wants to know about everybody else's business and what they're doing and what they're doing wrong and who's sleeping with this one and who's buying that, who's got that and who's got this. The attention is focused somewhere else other than within self. Rule the world, holiness and righteousness, and pronounce judgment and uprightness of soul. Give me the wisdom that sits by your throne, and do not reject me from among your servants. For I am your servant, the son of your serving girl, a man who is weak and short lived, with little understanding of judgment and laws. For even one who is perfect among human beings will be regarded as nothing without the wisdom that comes from you. So you need the wisdom that comes from the creator, the orchestrator, the conductor, the one who made things the way we need that wisdom. You have chosen me to be king of your people and to be judged over your sons and daughters. You have given command to build a temple on your holy mountain and an altar in the city of habitation, a copy of the holy tent that you prepared from the beginning. With you is wisdom, she who knows your works. So here it is. That wisdom is regarded as a feminine qualities. Men need to be finding women with wisdom. Women need to be connecting with women who have wisdom. There you go. You have given command to build a temple on your holy mountain and an altar in the city of your habitation, a copy of the holy tent that you prepared from the beginning. With you, wisdom, she who knows your works and was present when you made the world. Did you ever see that? It said, with you is wisdom, she who knows your works and was present with when you made the world. She understand what is pleasing in your sight. He's actually saying that wisdom is an actual female counterpart to God. She was there. I mean, if you want to read this in the literal sense, it's saying that maybe God had a woman. It says, I'm going to read it as it says. With you is wisdom, she who knows your works and was present when you made the world. She understands what is pleasing in your sight and what is right according to your commandments. Send her forth from the holy heavens and from the throne of your glory. Send her that she may labor at my side. So he's, hey, bring your wisdom, the same wisdom that you that gave you the insight to create the world. This changes the dynamics of how you look at God. See, the theology of today teaches that God is basically a he, all masculine, and you have to go to him for everything. But here it's saying God consulted a feminine, basically, being for wisdom. So that's what he used to get the help. Okay. For she knows and understands all things, and she will guide me wisely in my actions and guard me with her glory. Then my works will be acceptable, and I shall judge your people justly, and shall be worthy of the throne of my Father. For who can learn the counsel of God, or who can discern what the Lord wills? For the reasoning of mortals is worthless, and our designs are likely to fail. For a perishable body weighs down the soul, and this earthy tent burdens the thoughtful mind. We can hardly guess at what is on the earth, and what is at hand we find with labor. But who has traced out what is in the heavens? Who has learned our counsel unless you have given wisdom and sent your Holy Spirit from on high? And thus the paths of those on earth were set right, and people were taught what pleases you, and were saved by wisdom. Wow. See, they perverted all of the teachings. They made everything masculine. It was all about God and all about Jesus. And women were just, the female quality was just a byproduct. It's just something there, extra. But here, wisdom plays a key role in the creation of the world. So it's showing you how you need that masculine and feminine. That's why it takes a man and a woman, male and female, to make a child. This is why it's very important that we know these things. See, school will not teach you that. They're going to teach you how to survive under man's rule and control, how to make it the way they want it to be. That's why both is equally important. So, wisdom, seek it, look for it repetitively, repeatedly. See, what I would do if I really want to know something, I always ask for the truth, ask for the wisdom in the idea. Just sit back. Once you ask, it's going to come. You're going to get it. Do you know that everything you desire, all of the good stuff, let me say this. Let me say it like this. All of that negative stuff that you're getting that you don't like is what you're calling forth on yourself. One of the secrets of the universe and how the world works is it is always trying to give you the highest good possible. It's on automatic for you to get that. But Akeem, why don't I get it? Why don't I get automatic good, automatic prosperity? Why don't I get that? Because it's automatic. That's the mechanism that God placed there for us to have. If we stay within the boundaries, the rules, the laws of how it works. Think about it. Adam and Eve was on automatic prosperity. They got here, boom, everything was there. They didn't have to do much for that. They just had to follow certain rules, the basic laws. Stay positive, Stay prosperous, stay productive, and stay away from that damn tree. That's it. Leave that alone and be over here. Now, that tree is a figurative tree. That tree represents you working outside of your divinity in your mind. Not because what was the Satan's offer? He was like, no, what God is saying is not true. You can do this and be like God. See? That alter thought, that negative thought, that the very person who placed you here to be prosperous was wrong. Think about it. Don't we have that? That stuff happens in our own house, right? We have children and they start messing around outside and they hearing people say all kind of things. Nah, you ain't gotta listen to your parents because of this and this and that. And the T schools are doing that with high. They're doing that highly, trying to make children be against their parents. They don't know what they're talking about. But you, the parent, have done everything you could to feed and clothe and provide for them, and then they go and listen to someone who ain't doing jack for them and take their word over yours. Same thing, husband and wives. They fall out, and then they go listening to some outside source, third party, and listen to their words, because that's all the adversary did was give her a idea, no proof of what she was saying, what he was saying. She had all the proof of what was good for her right there at her disposal. Adam too. Same thing with this system. It gives you, oh, you do this, do all these things, and you'll have success. But look around you. Look around you. The very people that's telling you don't even have the success they talking about with that. Go to school, get a chance, get a good job. No, get a good job you hate. Get a good pay, because it's really about getting a good paying job. Not a good paying job that you love. It's a good paying job that you hate. And this is the ideas we put forth with no real evidence. The evidence is clear. It is clear that there is no true success in working for someone. There's no true generational wealth building in having a job, a 9 to 5. If you're okay with just the paycheck and just taking care of no generational wealth, no passing things on to the generation, then the job is perfect for you. It's the perfect deal. If you're okay with being in a position where you hate to get up every morning and you're living for the weekends and you got to budget your paycheck so you don't run out of money until your next paycheck, if that's okay with you, then the job is perfect for you. Go for it. But I could put money on it. 99.9% of people listening to me do not like their job that they're going to. But yet, you negatively repeat that process daily. You get up in the morning, man, I don't want to be here today. See that negative reinforcement? Man, can't wait for the weekend, man. Man, I hate that. If it wasn't for, man, if I ain't had these bills to pay, I wouldn't even do this. I wouldn't even put up with that ignorant ass boss that I got. Man, if I could just hit the lottery, man, I'd go in there and piss on their desk and leave. If I could just hit the lottery. See that? See that repetition? But we consider that normal. The world considers that to be normal. The world considers that to be okay, but God didn't say that was okay. He said, have dominion. And think about repetition. What is repetition? It said, have dominion and be fruitful and multiply. To repeatedly multiply. To multiply is another way to repeat something over and over again. Times it by itself over and over. Be prosperous. You're supposed to multiply your prosperity. Not put yourself into a deficit. Multiply. But how do you do this? How do you get out of this rut we've got ourselves into? How you gotta positively repeat and soak up, seek wisdom repeatedly, daily. Give me the wisdom to get out this day, Lord. Please give me the positive wisdom that I need, that good wisdom. And watch over time, if you repeatedly ask for that, and you can repeatedly do that, things will change. See, things change. They say God made the world with the word. Things change with the thought, and then comes the word, and then action. And after action, the physical manifestation shows up. And it was back to what I was saying. I got a little off. This system is designed for you to be successful at your highest possible aspiration. And to see that, the key to seeing that was through those three slaves that got the talents. All of them had it according to their will, or according to what they see they can have for themselves. Think about that. 1, 3, and 5. See, your prosperity, what you have right now, where you are, is all based on what you believe you can have. You're holding in your hand, in your bank account, your house, your cars. All of that you have is based on what you believe you deserve and can have. So if you change your belief and change what you think you deserve, guess what happens? Guess what happens? All of that stuff changes. So if you're losing, that means you have decided to lose. You believe in losing at this juncture. But you can, now when you start believing in winning, you're going to win. It's just like anything. You get on a winning streak, and then you get that negative thought. The devil comes in, the serpent comes in. Isn't it true that you be like God? This and this and that. In real life, it'll be like, isn't it true that if you have a winning streak, the law of probability says you're gonna have a losing streak soon. See that how that devil came in? That's not true. That's what you thought up to be true. And it then from the thought, the word came, and then the manifestation, the creation of that losing streak. So always remain, because even in I see this. I see this all the time. Even in the so-called positive new thought community, they say that too. Yeah, everything ebbs and it flows, and ebbs and it flows. It's ebbing and flowing because you believe in ebb and flow. You believe in up and down. What goes up you believe in. There's winning seasons and there's losing seasons. But I've come through wisdom, that there's also, like, you can always have a winning season if you just remain in that thought. But see, the way this system is worked, God is allowing you to be a creator. You have been created to make the world how you see fit. So you can have your losing, you can have your winning, you can have it all. You can have the whole buffet, the good and the bad. It's all for your choosing. I always talk about this buffet that's sitting there of abundance. Yes, abundance of everything. And everything you could pick. You know how you don't like everything on that buffet. And you can't eat everything on the buffet because you might be allergic to it. It's just downright nasty. That's life, isn't it? It's a buffet. Choosing, I'm going to pick this good for me right now. And then while you're doing that good, as everything's going good, then you get lazy. and you decide not to keep choosing the good, and then next thing you know, you're getting bad. Why? Because you chose not to keep going for the good. And the way the world works, a space has to be filled if it's empty. That's the same story of you sweep the house clean, of the demons that someone was the man that was rid of demons, and he swept his house clean, that mental consciousness clean, but he didn't fill it up with something more positive. He didn't keep the positive stuff going. He got stagnant. It was clean and the demons were gone, but he did not replace it with more good. See, you have to clean up your mind, and then once you clean it up, you have to keep replacing it and fill that void with more good. Or what happens if you don't do anything? The world are gonna see the world out there. The system of man is created that is always bombarding your consciousness with what it wants you to believe and think and behave, and manipulating you into doing its will. So you have to be careful and mindful of what you're doing repeatedly. So this positive walk, this building up your prosperity, is a daily thing. You take one break, guess what? One slack off, and that negative thing is coming there to take over. And it's like a cancer. It's like a parasite. One negative thought is a parasite. It starts to eat up all that good. And next you know, all you're thinking about is something negative. And now you're in a place that's almost beyond return, unless you go back. Come back, as the prodigal son did. Once he realized how bad off he was, you got to come back to where? The Father, the place where the prosperity is. Because where prosperity is, where God is, wisdom is right beside him. The wife of God is wisdom. People say God didn't have a wife. Yes, he did. It was wisdom. The architect needed wisdom. And when you look at your life, you always need wisdom on everything. You need to be married to wisdom. And if you put it in the more physical, you need to find a woman. Everybody needs a woman in their life, man, woman, child, that has wisdom. Everyone. This is why. Think about it. When I was reading that, God built the world and he sought wisdom right next to him. And when you sit back and think about it, it's almost starting to look like the way they designed the system is on purpose for us to overlook that wisdom, overlook that feminine quality of wisdom. And this is why people make bad decisions every day. When we don't have proper wisdom, we make bad decisions. If we don't have that feminine quality next to us, married to wisdom, have her by our side, and always seek it, we make bad decisions. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Son of the one true king said, check on that. I came on job part. That's why I'm training. Hold on. That's why I'm teaming up with my wife and building her cleaning business. 3 cleaning techs, 2 cars, new office, and growing. Thank you for the continual reminder. Yeah. Husband and wife's teams. Any powerful, really powerful man, that's why they know that women are wisdom. They know how powerful it is to have that feminine quality, truly wise woman by their side. That's why these guys, you may not hear a lot about their wives, but their wives standing right there. And this is why when like Trump, they always try to talk bad about his wife and talk about she didn't like him and try to damage that perception, but she was still right there. And I believe right now she's still there. A man needs a woman with wisdom. That's the quality we should all be looking for. A woman needs to have a wise mother, a wise sister, a wise aunt, a wise grandmother. All of those. In this generation, we ain't got a lot of that in this generation. So, all right, peace to everybody out there. We have Lakin Apple says, peace to the God, much light and love to all. DJ JOJ says, peace to all on this glorious Sunday. DJ B Dunder says, morning, everyone. He also says, peace, love, prosperity, extreme wealth, and health to everyone. Church of Infinite Abundance and Hindsight ready to say, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to all. And Indy Circleman said, peace, my brother. And Levita says, peace to all. And Road War said, peace, everyone. It's been a while since I've been on. It's all right. Oh, glad to have you back. Cacnet says, peace to all. And DJ OJ say, divine feminine energy. So, that's all I got to say. It's 10:55. Remember, repetition, positive repetition is what you need. And with that being said, Tuesday, we're going to go in on that birth certificate. We're going to go in. I'm going to go in and really break it down to you guys. And before I go, Javier Arbolez says, health and prosperity and positive vibes to everyone. That's a true brother. He has helped me out tremendously. And yeah, we're going to be doing a seminar in his hometown. By the end of July, early August. All right. With that being said, peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, repeatedly, repetitiously, seek wisdom. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.